delete certain things as well in the video.
Go on.
Yeah. Wait till brothers all sit down. Yeah, we all rolling, yeah? Yeah, man, we all rolling. Shalom. Want to give our praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
Giving double honors to all the elders and their also great wisdom for teaching us this 100% truth. Salutation to all the sincere Wakim out there. The Af Wakim, that's the sisters, and the Waf Wanim, that's the young ones. Tuning in, Abu Razaki, edifying to all the sincere. So the title of this one, sometimes it's good for me to write down the title as well. You window shoppers, wake up, choose wisely and live. Yeah, because lambacking of one of the elder brothers, the elder apostle Tahar, was speaking on him. He was talking about the M.O.T.B, the metamorphosing of the M.O.T.B IUIC. Yeah. Something to that effect. And yeah. Is that good? Metamorphosis.
It could be metamorphosis.
I'm gonna check. I don't want to say it wrong. I'm gonna look it up. The word. As a matter of fact, right? I'm gonna get it. Yeah. Let's look up the word here. Metamorphosing. No, there's no. Look up the word.
That's a different word.
Yeah, go on.
Metamorphism. Oh.
Look it up.
Yeah, I'll search that, man.
Since the brother. Yeah, since you mentioned it. Yeah, because the M.O.T.B with IUIC, they've been making all their changes, man. The brother, I think the brother elder name is Yakanan. Yeah, the one that visits the elders, the GMS elders. I've seen him a couple of times visiting them in New York. And yeah, he's mentioned that when they first started out with the M.O.T.B, they first said it was sin. The first, the first breakdown was about sin, and then he showed another video later on, one of their videos. They were saying about it's in the right hand and in your forehead, and it's your agreements with the other nations. That at one stage they said it's the agreement that you may have with the other nations, right? In your forehead or your hand, the embargo. But now they're actually saying it's the karagma. They're actually saying in the year 2025, the last thing they have said, they said it's the karagma. So they still haven't got it right, because when according to the video what Elder Tahar showed, he showed when they opened up, and he was one of the elders in IUIC was saying, the Benjamin brother was saying that he started talking about it's sin, and then he started talking about the digital currency. The actual digital currency. Then he started to go in that. So basically, they're going in that direction. You found the word?
Yeah.
The word
So it says in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it says metamorphism means a change in the constitution of a rock, but in simplicity, to apply it to this context, it just means a change to the state of something.
And then you got another word like morphing.
Yeah, that means change as well.
Morph, when something be morphing. But hit the scripture, Baba Bashar, to get the ball rolling. Where we're going.
We're going to start with Revelations 13, verse 12. Sorry, Revelations 13, 16. And 16. What about that? And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Right, yeah. So that's what the great, the small, right? Because you got the elite of this kingdom, right? You got the so-called middle class, then you got the what do they call them over there in America? The rednecks, people that be living in caravans, call them rednecks and all of that. The common people, which over here you call them tramps. They call them tramps. The common people, the working class people, tramps. Middle class. Yeah, so small and that's the different types of people. Yeah, he calls it all, both small, great, rich and poor, right? Yeah.
Free and bond. Yeah. To receive a mark in their right hand.
Yeah.
Or in their foreheads.
Right.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark of the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Yeah. So the beast is today, which you had the ancient Romans, which are the ancient Romans, which were the fourth empire, because you had the ancient Babylonians, the Medes, the Persians, which the ancient Babylonians, I remember correctly, are the gold, the precious metal. Then you had the silver, the Grecians, the silver. Then you had the Medes and the Persians, the silver. Then you had the Grecians, which were the bronze. So it's lesser metals, more inferior metals as time goes on. And then you had the ancient Romans, which go into the molten clay and iron, molten clay, which they don't mix. And up to this day, they have all these conferences, the UN conferences, the NATO and the UN, and they're never in agreement. They're not mixing up to this very day. Which on the surface they seem like they're united, but there's always always underlining under disagreements in the actual institution, which is the beast, right? The modern day revived Romans. So that goes into the Charagma. Now we hit that precept Acts.
Acts 17.
Hit that precept, Acts, because it got land back in of Elder Apostle Tahar, because he come at it a little bit of a different angle this time around in the video. The metamorphosis, we looked at that word.
So this is Acts 17 and 29. For as much then as we are offspring of the Most High, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold, or silver, or stone, graven by art and man's device. And the times of this ignorance the Most High winked at.
Yeah, I like that bit there, the time of the ignorance. But let's stop at and we can come back to 30. But let's look into the word there. It says in Acts 17 and 29, it goes into that word there. Graven. Let's look up the word there. Graven.
The root word for graven, it says charagma, which is the Greek word here, or charagma here. But it means, in the Strong's info, it says a scratch or etching, stamp as a badge of servitude.
Right, there you go.
In the outline of biblical usage, it also says a stamp, an imprinted mark.
There you go.
Of mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers.
Yeah, go a bit slower, slower for me,
Of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand.
Right, you see?
As the badge of the followers.
The word graven. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. Which is really just anyone of whom is against Yahweh Shai.
That's it.
That's the definition of it. It's not just some one person, one figure of whom it's like, he's going to bring in the M.O.T.B. That's talking about any adversary of Yahweh Shai in that time. They are reckoned as the Antichrist. So in other words, all the heathens and the 2/3, you can consider them as Antichrist because they disobey Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, which are the scoffers that come against us as well. The scoffers, the haters. If you hate these children, right, the elect, we're the hopeful elect, then you hate Yahweh Shai himself. Yeah. So carry on.
It says for verse
that which makes him an antichrist. Yeah.
The second definition, it says the mark branded upon horses.
Right. There you go. The mark branded upon horses. Now let's stop there, Baba Kushar. Ahab. Look up the word in the Google. The word branded.
The word branded, yes?
No, not the word branded. Graven as well.
Graven.
Because we know in the Greek, the word charagma in the Greek means to puncture, right? It means to, pierce or puncture in the Greek. But this is another angle which I'm getting to get our head around it too. We're going over it as well.
The word graven,
as our Apostle Tahar, so he laying the groundwork and we're going over it too, in way of reminder. And also to, as that word is, when your brain, you open up these neurological pathways, which are, the physicians, when I say that word, it's like my physician had be talking. So
the word engraven in the Google, it says engrave, an inscription or image on a surface, marbled, graved with exquisite flower, human or animals formed.
All right. Now, so all right, go to the etymology.
Etymology.
Yeah, or in that word, it says it kind of, in the Google, it kind of give you more of a broader range of it, but yeah, see what etymology says. Yeah, so we're out here, man. Right now the sun just started beaming on me, as I said. It gives me a high, man. You know, for those that, you know, charge up the battery. So this is what, when I come out here and we do these outdoor ones as well. Sometimes we do the sit downs with the Akim, or we do the indoor ones. You know, where we're getting into the words. Right now we're out here getting into the words and looking up this
Even whilst you're looking for it, if you go to the root word of charagma, it's harax or charax, you know, in the Greek, and it says here to sharpen to a point. It came through the idea of scratching, which is really the key point of that root word, because we know with the device that will be used to implant that M.O.T.B, it will be a sharp device, man. You know, just like a serpent biting something, it will be that sharp device. You know, if you actually search up the implant tool, you'll see that it's actually a sharp metal device, which will then be shoved under the skin to then implant that in the right hand. Of course, with Elon Musk, with his Neuralink,
CEO of Neuralink, Elon Musk, he's
going to need to do some surgery, man, you know, to implant that that chip of his. I'll just say it there.
Yeah, because I know a little bit, just so you know, being a carpenter, you know, into the understanding about wood chippings and all of that, right? You know, practical carpenters and stuff, and I've had a lot of splinters. And just what you do know is when you put something in the body, right, that don't belong there, the immune system rejects it.
Foreign body.
So that's my experience, but also my physician hat coming on. So even from just a health perspective, a physician's perspective, you don't want to do that. That's a foreign body entering onto your skin. And your immune system's going to send all those armies to fight it and reject it anyway. So, you know, there's scriptures about that too. We're going to get into that. What are you going to say?
Yeah, even on that point as well with, you know, the body rejecting things too. You know, if it's very severe, the body will form scar tissue around it. Because if it realizes, okay, one way doesn't work, eventually it's going to form scar tissue around the skull. So, you know, just imagine scar tissue forming and then blocking the signals, because, you know, there's going to be 5G as well, 6G too, to connect to that Neuralink M.O.T.B, you know, where if scar tissue then forms, that could be a possibility of that chip being dead, essentially. So really, is that at what cost are you disobeying the
ulcers?
Most High?
All the ulcers, the scriptures, Revelation 16 talks about all those ulcers and boils and all of that. And if anybody's seen Elephant Man, if you ever see Elephant Man, the old movie Elephant, late 60s, or it might be the Elephant Man. His name was Elephant Man because he was so ugly, man. Some of these people are going to be frightening to look at, bruv, just because of the reaction to the immune system fighting all those you know, you're going to get balls and all of that. And from the outward appearance, some of them are going to see that they've took it. That's how bad it won't look.
And if I may say this, like our body, right? Our body belongs to the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? So this, you know, I'm paraphrasing. The scripture says, you know, do not defile the body. So when you enter these kind of, when you put in something into your skin,
an unwelcome guest,
unwelcome, right? It's a foreign thing, right? If I say this, I remember one time.
Foreign entity, that's the same thing. An unwelcome guest, foreign entity. Carry on.
I remember one time I got a splinter, and we know that, I got a little bit of wood that went into my finger, and it was so tiny. And for like about a week, I was wondering where this pain coming from. This tip of my finger, and it formed a scab on top of it. So when I removed the scab, right, and I squeezed my hand, the wood chipped out.
Because it was dying to come out.
It was come out, as you said, brother. And you know, within 1 second, my finger felt better again. So our body, like the Lord doesn't want us to tap anything
Your
foreign.
Your immune system is a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It doesn't want to tamper. The Lord says, do not put any foreign objects in the body. And as you know, we talk about
incisions and all of that.
Incision, and we talk about that. So we talk about the what do you call it? piercing of this what you call it again when they grave it.
The karagma.
I mean,
We're looking
tattoos. So they do
Oh
tattoos.
yeah, I
yeah,
was just
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about
Same thing
that.
like that,
Yeah,
see?
Pierce the skin.
you read my
Piercing
mind.
the skin.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
thing is painful for a
Painful,
reason, man.
yes, that's
It's
right.
painful. Just people just want to have that vanity and they go through all that pain. Because if I've seen it happen, I've seen it when they do it. It's just like whole heap of needles, and they have
Yeah,
a special
yeah.
needle
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
full of ink.
Yeah, and then you mix in the blood.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Not good, not good.
people be so. On the same point, you carry on with that.
In the etymology
yeah,
online, right? I went to the etymology online. It says in the adjective, they're going to go to the verb. The adjective says sculptured, carved, right? In the adjective, in the verb now, to engrave, right?
Enough said.
To dig up,
Wait,
engrave.
hold on. But could you read it again one more time?
It says grave,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It says to engrave, to dig up,
God.
engrave, carve, chisel.
Yeah.
You see the chisel.
I thought it said dig deep.
No,
The reason why.
Inside joke.
But-
It's through the spirit. It's through the
but
spirit.
this
though.
is a digging deep.
Because literally, it will have to dig deep
You
inside
have to,
the
yeah,
skin.
you're right, you're right.
On the
surface.
skin.
You're right, on the surface. That's correct. Yeah. So that's it, basically.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, we have that saying among us, you know, dig deep, which is whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah.
Brothers are into the health, you know, brothers are into the exercise, doing the videos, the truth.
Yeah.
We believe in that, you know. We apply that, dig
Yeah.
deep.
It's true.
And I like the point you made, right? Because you just brought back memories. With the times when I've had splinters, you think, oh, it's so deep down in there, you just leave it.
Just leave it.
But
Yeah.
there's medication you can take because I knew somebody, someone who knew someone. There's medication that you could take to make it come out quicker,
Yeah.
to speed up the process. But even if you don't take medication, your body
Yes.
is a natural fighter,
Lord.
and it will push it out in one way or another. But even if there's a scab on there, it's always dying to come out. So it will come out, and it's very painful, as you say. But when
Very,
it comes
very
out,
painful.
it's a relief.
A relief. straight
So
away.
listen to the scriptures, listen to the elders and the apostles, and even from the health tips. If you really get into the health side of it, you're gonna do the right thing. As a matter of fact, bring out that precept there. The title of the video once again, because I like to, I got sometimes, just as way of reminder. You window shoppers, wake up, choose wisely, and live right. Because they were the apostle to Harvey. You be using that a lot. That word. Window shoppers.
Yeah.
Right, and the window shoppers sometimes they be palabering around, man, taking their time, going and looking at that. For any man that's been shopping, any brothers that's been shopping with their wives, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? They take long, but they just palabering around. Sometimes they don't even buy. But if you're in GMS, you're in the right place, man,
Right.
and you don't need to be window shopping. But as what they be saying, window shoppers, and IUIC be talking about window shoppers. Yeah, they need to be shopping out to get out of that stupid, that folly, right? With all that metamorphosis that's been going on, changing up the breakdowns, man.
True.
You know what they say? Do not
Don't get. Let me try again.
to someone who gives to change.
Yeah,
you know the
yeah,
scripture.
yeah.
Unto them that give to change.
Might as well bring it
Yeah,
out.
sure,
The
yeah.
script, we're on the subject, so the brother quote the scripture. We're gonna bring it out. Yeah, on the point. Yeah, man. So I'll be thinking about that M.O.T. All I think about because of what me and I have been through some things. You know what I mean? I'm not, and you too. Remember you're an old spirit. You're the old spirit. So we're not, brother. You've been through stuff. We all been through some things. But so we know that's a painful thing, man. Our brothers are we choose wisely, right? We're gonna get into the scriptures, yeah. And
I got what the Proverbs are talking about, yeah?
go on.
Proverbs 24 and 21. My son, fear thou the Lord and the king, and meddle not with
Buddha.
them
Buddha.
that are given to change.
I had to throw a little stiff jab just because I felt so good. I just had to throw that jab out there, man. That's a jab right there.
Yes.
So yeah, man. I ain't gonna the one that's lucky. I don't want to throw no more jabs. That was what the one and only jab I threw. Right. But that was a jab right there to the demons in the spirit, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not giving no read it again, Baba Kushar. Let that one marinate. Let the scriptures talk. Killing two birds with one stone. The sun just beaming out as we just read that scripture there. And we're getting our vitamin D fix too. we're in the nature, the birds be coming around us, just like what happened on Saturday. The birds be just coming around us, man. You know what I mean?
I remember the scriptures, you know, that the Lord is not the author of confusion, so we all have to speak the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? And when we say one thing, we have to stick with it. You see? Proverbs 24, verse 21. My son, fear thou the Lord, and it's all in caps, and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change.
See? Because why? Why is that? We all know, you know, if you had that kind of boss, that kind of horrible boss, man, you know what I mean? I'll do that. No, hold on a minute. Do confusion, man.
Yeah.
You start looking for another job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to work for a person like that. To bring you, or you know, it could be anybody. Like your woman, always chopping and changing. You know, which the woman is a weaker vessel anyway. That's what you expect from a woman. But the Most High, man, is about consistency. You know, you're holding something.
Yeah. Ephesians 4 and 14.
Yeah.
That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men that goes into craftiness and trickery. Sleight of men and the cunningness, the craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. So of course, you know, when the scripture of Amos 3 and 3 talks about the two walking together except to be agreed,
Right.
That's what it talks about here. You got to walk in the same doctrine, and of course that doctrine has to be rooted in your house. Of course, if you follow it, anyone who is adverse to it, they let them follow the path of destruction, you know, which is really the wide again. So that's what I was talking about. It says that henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro. You know, as you said, you're talking about certain people saying do this, do that, you know, setting up confusion. You know, that's all these other camps, you know, with these different doctrines, man, saying the M.O.T.B is this, saying, you know, if you do this, you're going to be punished this way. If it ain't rhyming with the scriptures and the original doctrine of Yahushua, you know, as we're taught through the great Muslim apostles, then of course they have to follow that path away from us to that path of destruction. Because we're taking the path onto Yahushua to salvation, as we sincerely believe. So yeah, I'll read it again. So Ephesians 4 and 14, it says that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine. You know, doctrine means teaching. It says here, by the sleight of men and the cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. And speaking of cunning craftiness as well, it's a recent video, but recently where I think it's Elder Yawachanan, you know, on the Jehovah Witnesses, man. That's a major example of a wind of doctrine, right there, where they would have used cunning craftiness to make one believe that, well, to make one to believe in an idol, you know, the white Jesus. But of course, in the end of the video, you saw the elder actually rebuke them Jehovah Witnesses, man. He wasn't tolerating any nonsense in that video. The same way it says here that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro. And that's an example that the elder gave, man, of them Jehovah Witnesses that came to his place,
trying to keep us to be under that with that scripture you read earlier. Meddle not with them that are given to change, man. But these people are just demons, man. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses. I know exactly how Elder Yakanam felt. They're just demons, because I've been that's where I've been around those people. You know, bro. You know, it's old news now. So yeah, it's old news now about who, you know, the color of the Most High, Yahushua is. That's all old news. But they want to keep their you know, that's a part of the one of the three unclean frogs, which they're just false prophets. We're just offshoot from the Vatican, you know, over there in Rome. Oh, we just heard that deletion of the Pope too. This is all signs. This is the power of this truth, man. The Pope, they're doing their memorial, and all of that, because the Most High is dealing them a blow, man. You know, before he died, he was suffering anyway. With you got the other one there. Right now we have there recent deletions. You know, the recent deletion was the Queen a couple of years ago. Then you had Prince Philip as well, and then you had Prince. Now we've got Prince Charles, which he's not doing too well. Some form of C. I ain't gonna say the word. Some form of C. And then before that we had the Rothschild, the two Rothschilds. So this is all signs that we're getting closer to Esau is the end of the world, but he's dealing, he's breaking them down, just like what happened with Pharaoh. You know what I mean? He started to break them down with the 10 plagues first, before he took them out, breaking them down with the, in the ring, in the boxing ring. I ain't gonna throw no more jabs, but the uppercuts, the below, the solar plexus, left hook, right hook, and then the ultimate overhand right, man. When he dealt them a blow in the Gulf River of Suez, the host of his armies. You know what I mean? He dealt them a blow. Which Yahweh is the king of terrors, and he's Yahweh. Exodus. You don't have to get it. I'm just going over it in my mind. Exodus 15 and 3. The Most High is a man of war.
Yep.
Yeah. So what are you bringing out? What are you holding?
Yeah, this is on that point on the Most High. But before I even make that point, he died at the age of 88. When you also research, for brothers who are into numerology, because there is numerology in the scriptures as well, it actually means balance as well. It can mean glory, but it means balance.
Oh, around the time of their Easter, and with all that Easter business, so-called Easter.
So the Most High is balancing all the wickedness that they've been doing for years, with all these deaths of high-level people. That's what the Most High is bringing in. He's bringing in the balance that, okay, it's time to come back to the spiritual realm, and then let the righteous take over.
Right.
Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So I got a precept on that point as well, with the Pope, going back to the spirit realm. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me.
Powerful.
I kill and I make alive.
Powerful.
I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So the Most High has the power of balance, once more. And again, the Pope died at age 88, which, as all things are, there's a spiritual reason behind it, which we know, as I just said, it means balance too. So the Most High is bringing in that balance, man. It made the false prophet have their lively phase, but let that be a sign, let the Pope's death be a sign that they're going to enter that phase of death now, when they're all going to be killed and wiped out.
Yeah, and they know. Because they know all about signs, because that's why they got their telescopes in the Vatican. Their high-powered telescopes. They be looking into the stars and they be seeing the signs. They probably knew, in as far as all the archbishops and the bishops and all that, cardinals and all that. They probably knew it was coming, because they'd be looking into this. Basically, they're really looking out for Yahweh to turn. That's one of their biggest fears.
And there's even an absurd statement that he made. I don't know if it was probably 2 years back, where he said he would be the actual Pope said this, where he would be open to baptizing aliens. So I don't know what he was on about there, but whether that mean he's inviting demons, because they're speaking code. They're speaking code. Whether that mean inviting demons, or is making mockery of course of Yahweh and the angels, man. So all these sly statements, speaking in code, all that comes at a cost. But
we do know for sure. We do know for sure that they are left-hand side, totally left-hand side energy. So they're always welcome, because they also was talking about which they've made a pact with the New World Order. Open for the New World Order, the new system, which is they accept the society, all the alphabet people and all that. They say it's not a sin. It's no longer a sin, or it may be a sin, but we accept it anyway. So I'll hold Daniel 3, Baba Kusha. We're going to get into some of that, right? Because you may have some interested ones watching as well as sisters, the few sisters that be watching, or new one be watching. It's a good example we're looking at, and bring out your one now, Baba Kusha. This is the quick one, because you mentioned about Yahweh, right? Yahweh Shai. He's the king of terrors. What was the point that you said? Point you made
Deuteronomy
again?
32 and 29.
Read it again, Baba.
This is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. It says, "See now that I, am He that, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand."
I wanted to get that clear my mind, because I was thinking about that Yahweh is the King of Terrors, and He is the God of war, the God of hosts, of armies, Yahweh, Sabaoth in the Hebrew, the God of armies, or God of hosts in the Hebrew, or Sabaoth, the God of armies. Yahweh Sabaoth.
Yes.
I remember we was going over that recently. Yeah, so that's in the Hebrew. Yahweh Sabaoth. Yeah, the God of the host of armies, God of armies. Which goes back to He's the King of Terrors. And it's Him that He be bringing all these signs right now, man, so that we can see. We're touching on some of them. We're only touching right now we're just touching the tip of the iceberg, man. But it's a real blow to them to lose one of their so-called CEOs. CEOs, direct connection. That's what they say, and you hear that in Jehovah's Witness too. Direct connection with God. So he's putting himself in the position of Yehoshua. Connection between him and the people to get to God, which is a farce, which we know it goes back to the false prophets in Revelation 13 and 16. One of the false frogs, one of the unclean frogs. Yeah. Bring out what you're holding.
Let me before one of you call.
Whatever you got.
2 Corinthians 5 verse 10. For we must all. When we say we all, we're talking every human being under the sun.
Yeah.
Right? It says we must all appear before the judgment seat of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, that everyone may receive the things in his body according to that he have done, whether it be good or bad.
Right. Yeah. So do you want to go up in front of, or when Yahweh come, you got the. Oh, you say the only chip that you're going to receive is the literal chip.
Yeah.
That's what that's what someone's saying. The purple people.
Yeah.
What's his latest name? He's got a new name, but I know they call him
General name. What's that?
Something like that.
Yeah,
name.
Name.
So he's making mockery basically. But we all have to sit before him. Hence why we're going over this too, right? To to edify, to build up our faith, not to take it. That incision. Which I just think about incision, that thing that don't sound right anyway, man. I think about all the time when I was getting all them splinters in my hand. That was horrible, man. But I had to endure that. But so we know better, man. And if anything, we ain't gonna have to learn the hard way, man. These people are gonna. Once again, I say it, man. You're gonna see some ugly-looking people walking up and down the streets, and we're gonna know they took the incision. Because their body's going to be reacting to it. Yeah. All right, bring out. It's a quick one.
Yeah, quick one.
Right, bring it out then.
For those of whom took the M.O.T.B, it will be obvious that they took it because they'll suffer this consequence that I'm about to read. So Revelation 16 and 2, and the first went. This is the angels pouring out the vials of wrath of the Most High. And the first went and poured out the vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore. Noisome means something that's smelly. Grievous means something that's painful. And it says, a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So of course you can liken that as unto tumors and cancers, which will be visible upon their faces in the time to come. And once I'm going to make it obvious, these are the vessels that took it. And of course, in America, they're all going to be wiped out as well, just like waste. Again, the heathens are likened unto spittle, and the two-thirds as well, they're destined for punishment anyways. So that's just.
And to back up what you said, brother, what you said, a beautiful scripture there.
Yeah.
Because as Elder Pastor Haas said, that sore, right, is going to ooze, is going to ooze pus.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're gonna know the difference. You see who took the mark.
Correct,
See?
correct.
Yeah.
They'll look unhealthy.
That's it. Unhealthy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar, but you see, it's like getting a splinter on steroids.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's gonna emit radiation as well on top of that. We're talking about splinters, but it's a splinter that's gonna emit radiation. Gonna have all your data on there, so that people could know who you are, and you're just gonna regret it. You're just gonna regret it, man.
And that's going back to what Brother Aria said, but the title for this lesson, right? Stop the window shopping. Yeah, because you must know these things. What is coming? This is coming. This is actually at the door now. Okay, the M.O.T.B is at the door. So the beloved, in the spirit, he named this. Stop the window shopping. All right. Good.
Yes, you
I got this. I got the scripture that you
Yeah,
called
bring it
for.
out, bring it out.
Deuteronomy 30 and 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing.
You see that? You see now, why is it out there? You mentioned about the window shopping. It's out there and it's going to entice people.
Yeah.
But he said he's the Most High. Ultimately, the Most High put it out there anyway. You know, Most High, he kill, he make alive. So it's his movie. But he said it before them. What you going? You know, read that. Read the same. Read it again.
Deuteronomy 30 and 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life
Yep.
and death.
Stop. Life. Yeah. Rejecting it. Death. Deletion. If you take it, he set it before you.
That's it.
Right? People, you know, you walk down West End or any of those, you know, where there's busy markets. There's things that you're gonna see, man. You're gonna say, oh, yeah, it's gonna entice you. You're gonna, you know what I mean? So that's the Most High. He set the M.O.T.B there. On there, that's the M.O.T.B, and you can choose that one, or you can choose that one. Which one? Carry on. It makes the point.
It says blessing and
Yep.
cursing.
There you go.
Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Read the other one.
That thou mayest love the Lord thy power,
There you go.
and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. Heavy scripture. For he is thy life, and the length of the day of thy days thou shalt mayest dwell in the land which the Lord our power swear unto thy fathers, to Abraham,
Yeah.
to Isaac, and to Jacob.
And those-
given them.
That was Moses, man. You know. He, you know, gave them a choice, and Yehoshua doesn't force us as well. Same thing, like he lets everything play out. Back in the times when they were coming out of Egypt, many fell, man. It was only Joshua and Caleb, and their offspring that was able to enter, because many of them died in the wilderness. You know, 40 years wandering because of their lack of faith, and because they didn't choose life.
Yes.
So that's a prerequisite for us, you know. The 2/3, obviously the 2/3 are back here again anyway. They're going to choose the same thing because that's their lot. Others are the elect, are going to choose wisely. They're going to choose life. So the Most High gave us these choices, which is beautiful. You know what I mean? And we've learned from the bad examples. We've got bad examples, yeah, the rebellious that fell to all those different plagues coming out of Egypt. A lot of them fell to a lot of plagues. Some of them fell to rebellion because they came Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, the leaders that led them, and they fell to. You saw the movie the other day, didn't you? Moses showed us the movie, Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
They fell to rebellion because of the leadership, Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. They fell to the temptations of wanting to eat manna. They got fed up with the manna. They wanted quails and, you know, dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction, rebellion, going against the rulership, and basically lack of faith. But those rebels are back here today, which are the 2/3, man. So that's a bad example, and we learn from that bad example. We've got a good example here. Daniel 3. There's a lot there. We're going to start. It's about that time now. We're going to start winding down with a couple of precepts.
I've got one here too.
Is it quick?
As a spirit.
Because we've got a little bit in here. So all right,
Okay. You want to continue?
Is that a quick one?
A quick one, yes.
Yeah.
John 16 and 13. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that he shall speak.
Break it down.
And he will show you things to come. And this is what we have. We've got the Spirit. We have to be in the Spirit, not carnally minded. Okay? Going back again, stop the window shopping. Right? Because when you window shopping, as you say, you're just walking along, you know, and you look at this shop, you're looking at that shop, and the next shop, and you just want to buy, but you just window shopping.
You're wasting time.
You're wasting time, brother.
Yeah.
Right?
Wasting time.
You're wasting time. You want to go into the correct shop, which is the correct doctrine, right? Which is truth, and it's of no lie.
Yeah.
You see?
And we can save you time, man, because we're breaking it down for you. Our elders and apostles have broke it down to us. We're breaking it down to you, right? So we save time, that way. The Most High is giving us the teachers.
Yes.
true prophets. So
Let me
yeah,
continue one more. But whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. And this is what we have. We have been.
there you go.
Things to come.
The true prophets.
The true prophets is telling us what is to come. What is that, brothers? The M.O.T.B.
Yeah,
That is coming. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Signs are everywhere.
Signs are everywhere.
Right,
Yeah.
so let's look at this, because this is very similar pattern right here. Daniel, we're going to start with a couple of precepts here. Daniel 3, let's start with 5.
Daniel 3 and 5.
As a matter of fact, just hit 1 and then jump down to 5.
Go on. So Daniel 3 and 1, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold
Yep.
whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it upon the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon.
Right, so that image, right, is just basically it's an image for them to bow down to. We're gonna get into it.
And just
which is an idol.
Go on. Just for more edification as well, a cubit back in the day was really the arm's length. You know, but back in the day, people were much more taller. Of course, their hands would have been longer as well. So you can't really get the exact measurements today. But it says a score means 20. So 3 score, 20 times 3, that's 60. You know, that's in terms of its breadth. And of course, it says 6 cubits here. So of course, imagine that 6 arms, joined together with that type of length. So that's how they measured things in the ancient realm.
I'm looking at some of these trees there, so it's probably up, up somewhere around these tree heights.
Very high, very high.
It's not no small thing.
Yeah.
So it's basically it's an idol, and they're trying to get them to. Let's read it.
Yeah. So skipping on to verse 5, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up.
Yeah, because when you looked at the word craving, it actually mentioned image as well.
Or graven.
Graven. Yeah, we looked at the word graven. It mentions along with other things, but it mentions image as well. So really, when they're trying to get us to take this, as we know, the elders are possibly breaking it down to us. It's an act of worship. Who you belong to. You've made your choice. If you've taken it, you've made your choice who you belong to. Carry on reading, Baba Busha.
Come on, it says, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, shall the same hour be cast in the midst of a burning fire furnace.
So if you was there, you would have heard that, and you would have been, well, I wonder what I'm going to do. But we know what Daniel did. But that's peer pressure.
Yeah.
You know, college and all of that.
Yeah, well, I felt it.
And college, school, it's still fresh in my mind, man.
Yeah.
Peer pressure is all around us. Even in just in work too, on the bus and all, it's everywhere, man. Peer pressure trying to get you to do things you don't really want to do it. But the majority of people are doing it. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
Read that again, and then it makes the point as well. Read 6 again.
Yeah, so Daniel 3 and 6, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fire furnace. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Everybody around them, they all fell down and what's wrong with you guys, man?
It's fear.
So, in today's terms, everybody's getting it. What's wrong with you?
They said that with the Jews as well.
Yeah. Break it down. Go on.
People at the workplace.
You got a little testimony about that, have you? You don't have to go into just
go on. I don't mind.
Because you're living it. When you've been through certain things, that's a testimony. People can relate to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For example, me in school.
Yeah.
When they were saying, okay, everyone's got to take that flipping test now.
Right.
Got to shove it up the nose or up the mouth.
Yeah.
I was meditating upon the precept of Leviticus 1 and verse 5, as well as never trust thine enemy, man. That was, of course, the beginning phases for me, the truth. But even then, those 2 scriptures right there, they helped me to gain strength, to resist what Esau's trying to force upon us, with fear, man, where you got to line up in the halls,
Yes,
They call you
yeah.
out of the classroom.
Yes.
You feel excluded. But it's like, no, man. Yahweh Shimon has given us the power, the spirit of power, of love, and a sound mind, man. That's 2 Timothy 1 and verse 7. So, of course, that's what I had to apply in that time during, if I recall correctly, 2021 specifically. You know, when people had to take the test. Of course, when it came to the Jews, they still allowed us. But the point is, they told me, okay, you have to wear a mask. I know through the spirit of Yahweh Shimon Shai, I went through that phase unfazed, man, because, well, untouched rather, because of you know, the protection and the wisdom that Yahweh Shai actually provided me. So in this time, that was an example of peer pressure, which you know, the brother here was also speaking on. In this time of the M.O.T.B, it will be 10 times worse, where you're gonna have family on you, you're gonna have people in the workplace, and you know, people of the world saying, "Oh, why haven't you taken it?" Because you'll be seen as a normal thing. And how normal, if you want to know how normal the M.O.T.B will be, you could try and watch Black Mirror, man. You know, this, you know, just a little tangent here, where in the recent season, they had a chipping plant, well, something of that form, you know, on the right side or the left side of the temple, man. You know, which would be like an interface with the AI, you know, with the brain as well. So they normalize it where people are playing games, they just put on the flipping chip, take it off, put it on, take it off. So they normalized it in the episode. That's the same way right now, you know, with that Neuralink and any other company that they're gonna have those implants with, as well as with the implant in the hand as well, they're gonna normalize it.
Yeah.
People are gonna be walking up to get it, just like the iPhone. You know, people in New York flipping, or in Oxford Circus lining up,
Camping out.
Yeah, literally overnight just to get the latest iPhone. They're gonna be camping just to get the M.O.T.B, because again, the scriptures talk about the miracles used to deceive them as well. You know, seeing people flipping. Basically, they're gonna try and heal the blind with it. You know, they're gonna try and heal the paralyzed with it as well. So those will be examples. You know, another movie is Upgrade, but you know, getting to the point here, you know, referring back to Daniel 3, you know, you're going to see how 3, you know, Israelite men here actually stood their ground.
Yeah, read.
I might as well read.
Carry on. Where are we? Read
verse 7 now.
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
Yeah. So Daniel 3 and verse 7. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music,
Right.
all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Right.
Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews.
Yep.
They spake and said, the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever.
Can't.
Thou, O king, hast made a
Decree. Right. You see, because everybody's doing it, but make a decree. Look at the word decree. Look at the word decree. We're winding down now. This could be the last one. A couple of more pieces, then we're going to close it. The word decree.
You want it in the blue letter?
Yeah. Bring out in the blue letter and see what it says in decree in the
Or blue.
Just curious to see what Google have to say about it. I can find out as well.
Alright, verse 10. Okay, 23 and 10. So the root word for decree was
decree meaning.
for the Strong's Info, it says from an equivalent, properly, flavor, figuratively, judgment, both, hence account, chancellor, command, commandment, decree, regard, taste, wisdom. So it's a commandment.
Yeah, see?
In the outline of biblical usage, it just, for the key, I'm going to read the keywords. It says decree, taste, judgment, command, judgment, discretion. Again, it just means command, essentially. That's what a decree is.
So them not bowing down. What's wrong with having a little bend in the knee then? Right?
Yeah.
Bend your knee a little bit, just for the, or get it in, get it, and then take it back out again.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
You see what I'm saying? I've heard that. That's before you enter a fight, you're already thinking of ways to lose. That's, you know, from the MMA perspective or the martial art perspective. You don't think of ways to lose. You think of ways to win.
Yeah.
That's a lack of faith right there. So that's the word decree, man.
Yeah.
I got a scripture for that.
All right, I'm going to read the word decree. It says there, an official order that has the fools of law.
Yes.
Right. So they what do? They give change to the laws. They make make up new laws. If it doesn't work for them, they find loopholes. Talking about the E's, the government, and make up laws. Hence why a lot of people were pressured, peer pressure, to take their loosey juicy. Right. Decree, guaranteed. So that's the meaning of that. What precept you got?
I got something here to about, right? As about what I was talking about, right? Second Ezra 2 and 47. So he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. That's why the names are very important. You have to know the names, right? Set 1 Kings 19 and 18. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees that have not bowed. You talk about the knees a while ago, which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which have not kissed him.
Right. So we're gonna see the results. People say, "Oh, what's wrong with bending the knee?" Well, the moral of the story is in here. And sometimes it's good to go over some of the history of the faithful men. The faithful young men, which they're here, I believe they're here. You know, you can have an idea who they are or whatever the case may be. But if they're not in the heavens right now, in the saying, what's that one? Revelation 6, under the altar, they're either there in the heavens or, for the most part, they're doing what they was doing then, and they're not gonna bow the knee. The faithful men, and none of the elect are gonna bow their knee. Read 10 again and then carry on.
In the spirit, will probably feel like deja vu for them.
Can't.
Because they've done it before.
So it's not just at the Christian church. Oh, it's so nice what they did. It's so nice what the elect did. The elect that are here once again. Put ourselves in the picture. You understand? It's not, it's not just a nice story, history. We hear about Noah. We heard about when you hear these stories, Moses and all of that, the 10 Commandments. When you put yourself in a picture that he was a black, a so-called black man, a dark brown man, and dark brown people, so-called black people, you're in the picture, you're in the movie. You're not just on the outside looking in. It's a whole different ball game, whole different ball game when you see that you're in this movie, playing, and you're back in your lot, individually and personally to you.
So verse 11 now, Daniel 3 and 11.
Read 10 again, Baba Kusha. I know we're spending time on this, but it always gets my creative juices flowing when I go over this, Yeah.
Daniel 3 and 10. Thou, O King, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the God.
That music was probably nice too. You probably, because music puts spells on people. Sometimes Captain goes into that. It has an effect on people. It can make you feel more relaxed. So that could have been some real really spell binding music, man. To me, what's wrong with everybody's dancing, everybody feel good. So why not take it, man, take it. See, temptation, man. Carry on.
Verse 11. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of the burning fire furnace. There are certain
peer pressure. Go on.
There are certain laws whom thou
there are certain Jews.
Oh, so
What does he say there?
It says that lose.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes the words are different. When you got a U instead of a V or something. But there are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image.
Ananias, Nazarias, and Mishael, that's the Hebrew names. So they're kind of making it, what's the word? Making it more personal. When they filling it down, because they're trying to That's what they're going to be doing to us. We're going to try and thin it down, make
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
you know they're talking about the street preaching, right? They make
yeah.
it, it's general at first.
Right.
See, we're talking about everybody, everybody doing it, then it's that now the names coming up. It's general at first, street, and then they're going to start saying black, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how they make it
Pinpoint.
to pinpoint. We're gonna
If I want to say this, right, they talk about this, they want to try to cut down the street preaching.
Yeah.
I want to see, when you, this is what I'm saying, this is the man. Look, where's the major street preaching right now? Because they don't come straight to the so-called black people, the Hebrew Israelites. They're going to start with what? Hyde Park, Speaker's Corner.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
use it as a measuring stick. If they really want to say they want to cut down the street preaching, let's see if they're going to cut down Speaker's Corner.
It'll be a sign, isn't it?
All right, as a sign. When you see that come to pass, then say yes, they are ready to roll that ball out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why do some people used to? In another way of looking at it is this, like this, right? Freedom of speech.
Yes.
Why do some videos get flagged? Is there really freedom of speech? What's the thing? Medical misinformation. Right?
Yeah.
Is there freedom of speech? And you got certain Edomites, Dr. So and so, they be talking all they be breaking everything down.
Yeah.
You heard them, you've heard them,
Cool.
which is where we get some, they don't flag it, but when it's a so-called black Hebrew, he be breaking it down. Oh, misinformation. So that's another way that they be trying to, get rid of which already there ain't freedom of speech already. They're thinning the lines, they're slowing, eventually kind of drawing back, pulling back on freedom of speech. Gradualism. That's the word. Yeah. So 12 and then carry on, and we're gonna end up.
Daniel 3.
Yeah.
Just tell me what to say.
Carry on. We're hitting the point.
Daniel 3 and 12.
Yeah.
There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon.
Yeah.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image.
Yeah, that's that decree. Same with Daniel when he was praying. That's in Daniel 6. That's another video for another time. They said that there's someone praying to his God 3 times a day, and then they was getting what they was trying to get at, and there was a decree for Daniel not to pray anymore. Very similar. So there's someone, but then they start to get to the names now. You understand? But Daniel continued, and there's always a positive result. That's really the moral of the story. Carry on, Baba Gusha.
That could be a sign that Esau might apply gradualism when applying the M.O.T.B. man.
Yep.
So verse 13.
Which have started already, because what they did, because they're going to the phone, the mobile phones at the moment. And the next stage after that, as the elder Apostle said, is going to be into you.
Is it Ethiopia?
Yeah.
They've done the digital ID 2026.
You see?
And then you mentioned, because the brothers that are really up on the technology. With it's going to be the digital currency. You're going to have to get things via app.
Yes.
And I remember there was a brother in the central camp was saying, when people get to a certain age, like now you've got everything. You have to get everything's apps now, app-based app banking and all of that. He said they're just out of the loop. They're just being put to the side, man. If you don't understand it, you know what I mean. So, they're going to have to get it, and at a certain age, you're just going to do what you're told. You know what I mean? Because you don't really know what's going on. Do what you're told, they're going to get it, and then that's it. Deletion for them. Because they don't understand tech. So, 2 more verses. 13.
Latter verse of verse 12, which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
Why ain't you? Everybody's doing it. Why? What's wrong with you? Do it, man. This is a decree.
That's what Salaki. On that point as well, even in school, that's literally what happened when
the headmaster.
A teacher literally, they brought me into the office.
You're the outcast. You're the outcast.
Yeah, they asked me, why aren't you taking the test?
Yes.
I just told them I just don't want to simply take it, man. Obviously Jason Prater and said some other shit as
don't throw your purse to swine.
Yeah, but ultimately I said I just don't want to take it. And then that's when he said, okay, just make sure you wear your mask and all that. So through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, we're gonna need that strength, man, to stand our ground.
Yeah. So we're gonna be putting them prayers in the bank. You understand? To fortify the strength. Oh, the Kazakh.
Keep your medicine.
Kazakh. Oh, that's strength in the Hebrew Kazakh. You know what I mean? So brothers who into the into the Hebrew prayers. You know, I'm getting into mine. Abaratazar, I'm getting more into them. Kazak, you know what I mean? Or Rakah, which means mind, spirit.
Yeah.
Lahab, which means heart.
Yeah.
So you may say Kazak, Lahab, strengthen heart, strengthen mind, or Kazak, Rakah, you know what I mean? Strengthen spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just before you know, whatever you're going to apply yourself to, you know, that's one of my things that I'll be getting into more into the, as far as the praying, getting into the asking for strength, man. Kazak.
You need it.
Wa and Rapayam, healing.
Yeah.
Wa and Barak, blessings. Kal Akim, to the Akim. You know what I mean?
Healing, blessings to the Akim.
So that's what I just asked for in the Hebrew. You know what I mean? Strength, healing, blessings, you know, Aria to Aria, or Wa, or Kal Akim to the Akim. Daily. You know what I mean? So any kind of opposition you feel you're gonna, you know, just as you even before you're going to a job interview, or you're just going to your job. You know what I mean? Ask for them for that strength, man, you know? And you're gonna see over on the Most High's time, He's gonna answer. He's gonna answer you. You're gonna see results. So ultimately, this is the big one when it comes to the M.O.T.B. We're gonna put it in the bank, man. Put it in the bank.
Verse 13 again.
All right, and
then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?
Right, so in front of the headmaster or the headmistress, for you younger brothers, and you probably, Abarazar, the Spirit's going to make who needs to see this video go and see it.
Yeah.
When you go in front of your headmistress, headmaster, if there's going to be another Lucy Juicy before, whatever the case may be, or it could be the M.O.T.B. next time round, you're going to say no through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem or Shai. Kala Yahweh. And let's carry on reading, and we're going to end with this one.
Verse 15.
Now jump down to 17, around that time now. Yeah, 17.
Daniel 3 and 17. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to...
Read 16 and the last three from 16.
Daniel 3 and 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power whom we serve...
Tell you what, read that again in the NLTV. Read the rest of the verses in
16 to 19.
Yeah, in the NLT.
Alright, come on, I'll get it right now.
And we're going to close with that.
You want me to get it, or you got it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this is not just, we're just reading over this as history, right? Which is history, but once again, those men, those faithful men, they stood their ground then, they're going to stand their ground again this time around, man. Stood so stiffly. Abaratazar, that spirit be upon us at that moment in time.
Alright, from verse 16, this is the New Living Translation, NLT. Daniel 3 and 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the Most High whom we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you, your majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up.
Right. How about that for some faith there? How about that? You want to make it clear and plain upon tables that we stand our ground for Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's just read 27.
Cool. We're skipping on to 27, Daniel 3 and 27. Then the high officers, officials, governors, and advisors crowded around them.
Slakia 26. There's a lot of meeting there, but we're just ending off now with the moral of the story.
So Daniel 3 and 25, it says, Look, Nebuchadnezzar shouted, I see 4 men unbound, walking around in the fire unharmed, and the fourth looks like a power. And it says, and that was Yahushua, by the way.
Yep.
Verse 26, then Nebuchadnezzar came as close as he could to the door of the flaming furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High Power, come out, come here. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the fire.
Is that in the NLT?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah,
Come on. Right.
Yeah,
all the way
NLT.
down to the end.
Come on. It says Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High, come out, come here. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the fire. Then the high officers, officials, governors, and advisors crowded around them and saw that the fire had not touched them. Not a hair on their heads was singed, and their clothing was not scorched.
See that? Hold on. See the power of the Most High, man, right there. Right? He delete. You brought that one out earlier. He delete. He make alive.
Yeah, and
He bring down. He raise up.
Yeah.
This is his movie at the end of the day, man. Just all you got to do is just hear what he's saying, listen to him, play your position in the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to end up. Carry on reading, man.
Yeah. Faith is really just having trust and confidence in Yahushua. So verse 28, then Nebuchadnezzar said, praise to the Most High of Shadrach, Meshach, and
Right.
Abednego.
That's Nebuchadnezzar. Right? People talk about winning people over. Right? The young men won over the king of Babylon. The young men won over the king of Babylon. Because he what's he saying? Read that again and then finish it off.
Go on.
28, innit?
Yeah, I missed a little bit of 27 where it says, and their clothing was not scorched.
Yeah.
They didn't even smell of smoke. Then Nebuchadnezzar said,
No, go on.
no, I was just reading.
Yeah, because there wasn't in fire. There wasn't enough fire.
Some air conditioning.
They never get burned. That's one of the old school rockers music. No, them never get burned. Shadrach, Meshach, burning spear, casting out their fire. But them, because there wasn't in the fire. That's why.
Yeah.
There was a we call it a hedge, a spiritual hedge around them.
Keep it cool.
You know,
You read my mind.
But from the outside looking in, you know what I mean? Oh, the man, you know, but you get closer, no fire never, as it's saying there. Self-explanatory, it's saying it, man.
Alright, verse 28, then Nebuchadnezzar said, praise to the Most High of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent his angel to rescue his servants who trusted in him. They defied the king's command.
See? You see what happened when you stand your ground there? Right? You got this we call it, it could be prime minister, but you got what they call him in school, the headmistress, headmaster. They're talking with they look confident, look like royalty right in front of you, looking all intimidating. You see, you said, no, but your God is more powerful than him, right? You can't see him, but you see what happened when you listen to you and you believe that faith thing. And Abu Razak, once again, that's what we're praying and building up our faith to.
That's it. It's a build-up.
Up to that time come. And yes, brothers have testimonies. There's been experiences that you can fall back on too. Because did the Most High not bless you? Of course he did. He blessed you, and you still got. Let me say it like this: you got some blessings to come for that still. So there's a backlog of blessings for you that's coming to you. If you haven't already got some, you got more to come for that. That standing off standing your ground on that. So you got what's the word? There's a backlog. There's a backlog of blessings, and I'm just talking in the spirit.
Because the Lord deals bountifully in abundance, you see.
Yeah. So verse 28, actually no. Verse 28.
Yeah, there wasn't even smoked with fire. There wasn't even. It's like there wasn't in the fire. I was saying.
So verse 28, Daniel 3 and 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise to the Most High of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego."
He's doing it again. The spirit's on him. He don't know what to do, man. What else can he do? The proof is in the pudding, man. What else can you do? You have to give glory to. That's like what they call that in the magician world. That's a miracle. Even though that's magic, but it's a miracle. But it's the spirit of the Lord.
But even the left-hand side going to show signs and wonders. But if it were possible, they should not deceive the very elect. You see?
But it's not possible.
If it's
that's
not,
right.
that's
because
it.
it's not possible. Yeah.
So it says, praise to the Most High of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent his angel to rescue his servants who trusted in him. They defied the king's command.
Yehovah, stop there. Yehovah Shemeshai Wa Alahayim. That's another one of my prayers. Like them quick little prayers what you just be saying, you know, when you're darting from place to place and you're doing that and you Shalak Yehovah. Now I'm getting back into him, but I remember the first time I come into the truth, that was one of my things, man. Just say your prayers. And remember when I first, you know, you might be full of zeal and all of that. I would see them chariots, man. Because when you say Shalak, it means send, right? Yehovah Shemeshai, the name, chariots, right? Or Alahayim, angels, chariots or powers. So Shalak Yehovah Shemeshai Wa Alahayim, send the angels, send the powers. And I kid you not, brothers know, when, you know, I always used to say, that was one of my things, seeing chariots, because the Most High, if you're visual, he gonna give you what you need. So I was getting like seeing chariots all the time. And now this time, around that time, and it's around this time anyway, where you be seeing, it's clear sky at night, you be seeing angels, chariots. So that's what. See now, if he didn't stand that faith, stand their ground, there would be no need for them for Yahweh to send chariots or angels. Read that again and then finish it off, Baba Busha.
Daniel 3:28. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, praise to the Most High of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent his angel to rescue his servants who trusted in him. They defied the king's command and were willing to die rather than to serve or worship any god except their own gods. Therefore I make this decree, if any people, whatever their race, or nation, or language, speak a word against the Most High of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they will be torn limb from limb, and their houses will be turned into heaps of rubble. There is no other God who can rescue like this. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to even higher positions in the province of Babylon.
See, one act of faith can move mountains. Yehoshua said that. So, brothers, I mean, self-explanatory, man. I could say so many things, but I think he said it there. He said, don't touch these guys, man. You know, be torn from limb, you know. And don't mess with them, man. In other words, don't mess with them. Their house, give them the best house, give them the best job, right? Governor, all of them, and all of that. You know, as the brothers them say, and all of that, and then some. Brothers, say your last comments. Brother, anybody got any last comments? Got any last comments? Let me say.
Yeah, just a brief one. You know, it's the same way the two midwives, Shipra and Pua, back in Exodus 2, when Pharaoh was slaying the firstborn. You know, they stood in faith, and of course relied on Yahweh in order to defend them, and they didn't slay the male firstborn. And of course, the Most High gave them houses as a reward. So it's a similar story to Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in Daniel 3.
Right. So,
that's it.
Yeah, man. So after that, Abu Razak was edifying you window shoppers. There shouldn't be no more window shoppers, man. You know what I mean? After all those history, facts, history that we're in, living, breathing proof right there, man. Right? You window shoppers, wake up, choose wisely, and live, man. Beautiful example right there. You know what I mean?
So it boils down to the doctrine at the end of the day. There's only one true doctrine, right? This is what we push at GMS, okay? All right, as the brother, the title for this lesson, right? What is it again? Read it again.
Yeah. You window shoppers, wake up, choose wisely.
Choose
and
wisely,
live.
right? You must know. And that's why it's a blessing when the Lord has woken up you up to this truth, to know the true doctrine. Tell you what, right? It's a blessing, right?
Yeah.
So, hope and pray that it's edifying to the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. And we give double honors to our apostles of great wisdom. Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.